Well, all the hype around weight loss drugs, weight loss injections like Ozempic, Mounjaro and the likes may be heading for a reality check. Because a new study now says that if you stop these injections and the moment you do that, weight loss, all that effort that you put into weight loss would be, in fact, it would go down the drain. A new study says that the moment you stop weight loss injections like Mounjaro or Ozempic and the likes, then weight could come back, and it could come back twice as fast. In fact, faster than it does for those people who've done years of dieting, yo-yo dieting. If you stop a weight loss drug, then twice as fast you could gain weight. This study comes from the University of Oxford. Researchers have analyzed data from 37 clinical studies tracking over 9,000 people who used popular GLP-1 weight loss injections. And they looked at only one key question here: what happens when you stop the drug? And here's what they found. An average of the people who they studied, people regained about half a kilo every month after stopping these injections. Most returned to their original weight within 18 months or within 24 months. And the striking part here is that the weight came back faster than in those people who lost weight through normal diet and lifestyle changes. It wasn't just about weight. Health gains seen during treatment, lower blood pressure, better cholesterol also disappeared. So if your health also improved through those injections, like cholesterol and blood pressure levels, then that too came back once you stopped it within about 14 months. Now, before you think this study is saying don't take these medicines, it's really not. Researchers are very clear. They say that these drugs do work, but only while you're on them. They compare obesity to conditions like diabetes or high blood pressure. Where you stop treatment, there as well symptoms can return. So here's the message: it's not just about weight loss injections. They're not saying weight loss injections are bad, but the message is that obesity is a chronic condition. It's not a one-time fix. Doctors say that these injections can be powerful tools, but they are not magic bullets. Long-term benefit depends on sustained diet, changes to your lifestyle, regular physical activity, ongoing medical support and broader public health fixes. But we do want to ask, are these drugs a lifelong commitment then? And if they are, then what does that really mean for the body, the mind, your healthcare systems? Our guest joining us, Dr. Jyoti Dev Kesavadev, Director, Jyoti Dev's Diabetes Research Center, and also Dr. Sanjeev Bagai, Chairperson, Nephron Clinic. Thanks very much, both of you. Dr. Sanjeev Bagai, your take on this. If you stop weight loss drugs like Ozempic, your weight will come back twice as fast than those people who diet. Even if you're doing 100 yo-yo diets, you'll still manage to hold on to your weight better than you would if you're on Ozempic.
Good evening. So I think this study has opened up a can of worms, and it's not going to go down very well with the pharmaceutical companies. That's pretty much clear. Screening more than 9,200 articles, screening more than 37 studies, more than 9,300 patients, followed up for more than 32 weeks for a treatment duration of 39 weeks. So that means more than a year of continuous monitoring. And you have already spelled out what the study shows. The study shows that the day you stop these medications, be it Ozempic or Mounjaro or anyone else, any other medications along the lines of GLP-1 agonist or GIP group of drugs, the weight gain comes back. More concerning is that all the metabolic improvement which you had during the course of treatment also goes down to baseline at the end of 1.4 years. That means less than 18 to 20 months after stopping the medicines. Your random sugar, your HbA1c, your cholesterol, triglycerides, and all your other cardiac and metabolic markers go back to what it was earlier. This really clearly shows that this is only a stopgap measure. This cannot be treated as a long-term measure. In India, because we are in a peculiar situation, availability of these medications, monitoring of these medications, whether it's being taken through proper prescriptions, and indeed the cost. We cannot forget these important points. And I think it re-emphasizes the fact that proper diet, that's the first point, a balanced diet. And second is good amount of physical exercise are the key to live long and live healthy. These drugs, however fashionable they may look, but ultimately they do also have certain side effects. We have to highlight those. And I would urge the Indian government to carry out a comprehensive study over a period of weeks and months. But in the meantime, issue an advisory, the do's and don'ts, what to monitor, and what happens after we stop these medications. Over to you.
Okay. Sir Jyoti Dev, your expertise on this. Do you prescribe these diabetes drugs to your patients?
And Nabila, thank you for the brilliant question. Of course, this has raised a concern. But I have been involved in this group of drugs, GLP, for quite some time. For more than 20 years, we are involved in the clinical research, as well as we are routinely prescribing these medications. There are a couple of facts. There are two important studies which have been conducted some time back, only with diet and exercise. One is look at a clinical trial, and the other is direct clinical trial. One in the United States and the other in the United Kingdom. And if you look at a clinical trial, for example, in 10 years, they found that the event rates with intensive lifestyle, diet and exercise, there are people who are dying, heart attack, strokes, and deaths that were similar to the control arm. So that was the first clinical trial to show that only healthy diet and intense exercise will not prolong the lifespan. And without drugs, they are prone for other important complications and illnesses. And the GLP group of drugs are here in the commercial market for 21 years now, starting with exenatide. And now with semaglutide, that is Ozempic and Wegovy, and with Mounjaro, it has been shown that these drugs are preventing the fatty liver, that is MESL and MASH. It has significant effect. Semaglutide or Ozempic have shown that it has got the potential for preventing heart attacks, even heart failures, and also it has got the potential to improve outcomes in kidney disease, composite kidney outcomes. So this is a group of drugs which can even prolong the lifespan like vaccinations. But remember, we are forgetting something that is a basic. The definition of obesity is a lifelong disease. 40% is driven by genetics, and it is a recurring. It is a treatable disease, but it is a relapsing disease.
So, which means they have to be on drugs like this lifelong?
Because if you need to prevent complications in multiple vital organs, including more than 30 difficult to treat malignancies, cancers due to obesity, we need to continue. Because will somebody stop drugs for a mental illness? Will somebody stop drugs for hypertension?
Yeah, I would assume if you adopt healthy practices, then you can stop.
But it is only 1%. If you look at the diet and lifestyle practices and the clinical trials, the average weight loss has been 2.4 kilogram. Considering all those clinical trials together, diet and exercise can result in an average weight loss of around 2.4 kilogram. Whereas these drugs can result in a weight loss comparable to metabolic surgeries, even 20 or 30 or even more kilograms or percentage, for example. And hence, these are life-saving solutions. But it has to be very smartly prescribed, not just casually given. And this cannot be discontinued all of a sudden. If you are discontinuing over a period of time, the balance of leptin and ghrelin is lost in the hypothalamus. And hence, the satiety hormones will come down. Ghrelin as a hunger hormone will grow, and the levels will increase. And this happens because weight loss results in energy conservation. And hence, people will start eating more. But there will be 1% of people who have the mental capacity, willpower, to have intensive lifestyle modifications, good diet and exercise after gradual discontinuation of this therapy. And they won't require this drug. They can maintain with life. And
so your willpower is what
counts.
The bottom line. Your willpower is the bottom
willpower
line.
Is the bottom
if
line.
you're able
Absolutely.
to control yourself and withhold from indulging, then that's possibly the best fix. If not, this could be a lifelong drug. You're admitting it could be a lifelong drug.
Yeah, these findings are not new. These findings are known for more than 15 years.
No, but what is disturbing is that the findings, Mr. Bagai, would you want to chime in on that? That people are losing eyesight. Their, their internal organs are really shrinking, and lots of things that I've heard which are scary. If you're going to do this lifetime, then
yeah. The drugs like Ozempic and Mounjaro are not relatively old. They are, I would say, relatively new in the Indian market. So the data with regards to the Indian diaspora with its own demographic profile, metabolic profile, would still take time to filter in. My concerns are threefold. I know for a fact that a lot of people, at least in northern India and Delhi, are taking this over the counter without a valid prescription. That can be disastrous. Point number two, there should be a warning, a statutory warning that this has to be monitored by a qualified doctor, preferably an endocrinologist. Point number three, unless and until we don't focus on our overall lifestyle, these drugs will only be a short-term cure, short-term management. It can never be a cure. We need to refocus on what we eat, what we live in, what we are doing, the amount of physical exercise we wish to sustain ourselves to, and overall our lifestyle modification. There is no running away from the fact that these drugs can only be used for a short period of time, primarily because of certain side effects. I will not go into the details of that, but more importantly, for an average Indian, this is extremely costly. Most Indians will not be able to sustain the cost with the present costing pricing. Over to you.
Thanks very much. Like both of you said, healthy life practices is really the solution, the bottom line here. I appreciate you joining us.